There are several major deaths depicted in the new Netflix limited series Ripley. Tom, who assumes many identities and places of residence throughout Ripley, is drawn to murder once his true identity of being an elaborate con man becomes threatened of being exposed. The psychological thriller is based on the renowned 1955 novel The Talented Mr. Ripley by celebrated novelist Patricia Highsmith, the first of her 5-part Ripley series that also includes Ripley Underground and Ripley's Game. The Talented Mr. Ripley has been adapted several times for film and television, but none have been shot completely in monochrome until Stephen Zaillian's Ripley. Zaillian, the Academy Award-winning screenwriter of Schindler's List, American Gangster, and The Irishman, wrote and directed the entire 8-episode miniseries. Ripley's cast is led by an exceptionally chilling Andrew Scott, Fleabag, Black Mirror, All of Us Strangers, as the titular treacherous protagonist. Throughout the thrilling series, Tom has conned his way from a lowly life of scamming and thievery in New York City to becoming incredibly wealthy in Italy thanks to a supposed old friend, Dickie Greenleaf, Johnny Flynn. Ripley has received rave reviews from critics upon its April 4, 2024 release exclusively on Netflix. By the end of Zaillian's Ripley, Tom has orchestrated a way to frame his murder of Dickie Greenleaf as a suicide, successfully convincing Dickie's concerned girlfriend Marge Sherwood, Dakota Fanning, and a determined Inspector Ravini, Maurizio Lombardi. Ripley brings to light the lengths that monsters like Tom will go to in the name of self-preservation, using chilling methodology and calculation to be seen as significant by means of material wealth and social access. Even after Tom escapes to England in the final moments of Ripley, he does not seem satisfied, only aware of what it feels like to wear Dickie's clothes, flaunt Dickie's ring, and stare at Dickie's artwork while ultimately feeling nothing at all. Richard Dickie Greenleaf. Killed by Tom in Episode 3. Tom's murder of Richard Dickie Greenleaf in Ripley Episode 3 Sommerso sets up the entire rest of the series. Tom had originally been sent by Dickie's concerned father, Herbert Greenleaf, to retrieve Dickie from Italy and convince him to come home and start facing his life's responsibilities. Tom persuades Dickie into thinking they were friends back in New York, which Dickie is too aloof or disinterested to look into. Tom recognizes that people like Dickie don't anticipate people taking advantage of them or live in suspicion of people's true motivations. They already have everything they could possibly want and are used to things generally being easy and going their way. Tom weasels his way into becoming Dickie's right-hand man in Trani, Italy, which Dickie doesn't really seem to think too much about. Marge, on the other hand, senses Tom's manipulative tactics from the start and, rightfully so, is immediately suspicious of Tom's intentions. She too, however, is also living through Dickie's extravagant lifestyle, which is the basis of the novel she is working on. Dickie's house is notably much more lavish than hers, and when Dickie and Tom plan a trip to San Remo without her, Marge is left bored with herself in the absence of her and Dickie's quaint lifestyle. Dickie's biggest mistake, however, is not having the ability to see what Marge sees in Tom, but not taking her advice about him. Dickie's blind faith in Tom is the main reason why he made himself so vulnerable for Tom to fully take advantage of him by murdering him in San Remo. Naturally, Dickie couldn't imagine that someone as sinister as Tom existed, which is how Tom was able to get so close to him in such a short period of time. Dickie naively thought he could break the news to Tom that he was essentially ending their friendship on a small boat in the ocean with no witnesses. Dickie realized that Tom had taken advantage of his father and was trying to respectfully settle the dispute, asking without coming out and saying for Tom to leave Trani. Thrust into a hole he couldn't climb out of, Tom was unwilling to let go of this golden opportunity to live lavishly like Dickie in Italy and determined that the only way to keep this dream alive was to kill Dickie in cold blood. Tom grabbed an oar and bludgeoned Dickie to death, cleaning the blood of Dickie's valuables and ultimately sinking Dickie's lifeless body into the bottom of the ocean. Tom took the boat to shore in a remote and rocky area and submerged it in water with rocks. Eventually, the boat was found, but Dickie's body was never recovered. Tom then checked out of their hotel in San Remo without Dickie and fled for Rome that night,